Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Novel Nana. I'm Bex. On this channel, we talk about writerly related things. So if that's something that interests you, consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell, it'll let you know the next time that I upload, and be sure to leave me a like and a comment down below. Today's video is part 4 in the co-authoring or co-writing collab series. So let's go ahead and not waste any more time and let's just get straight into the video. Behind me I have my whiteboard and I have listed out a few things, cons and pros to the author collab. Okay, this is not the end-all be-all list, but these are things that you might want to consider. Okay, so just because it is on the con list doesn't necessarily mean that it's an automatic con. It's more of things that you should be on the lookout for, things that you need to consider. Okay, so the first thing on the cons list is ego. You want to make sure that you're checking your ego. This a collab is supposed to be a joint effort, meshing of the two writing styles. So check the ego. All right. Number 2 on that cons list is contracts. You do want to make sure that you have contracts in place to protect each writer in your collab. Number 3 on the cons list is adapt and compromise. You need to find a partner that is willing to adapt and roll with the punches because you are going to probably find someone that does things a little bit different than you. And this is where that compromise comes in. So be sure that you have someone that is, more open to compromise. Okay, so a good compromise, as you know, is when both parties do not get everything exactly as they are looking for, but it is a happy medium where the two people can come together and both be happy with the results of that compromise. Also, merging and giving and taking of ideas. This is on the cons list. It's just because this is something you need to be on the lookout for. You need to be aware of these things. So, on that merge and give and take, again, it's all about that compromise and that communication. So that way, one person is not kind of steamrolling the other. So, that's where that merging of the ideas comes into play. So, be on the lookout. Okay, the next thing is admin stuff. If you have one partner that is really good at, the administration part of the collab, it's not always a good thing. You want to both be knowledgeable. You want to both be on the same page when it comes to that admin stuff. This way, not one is getting all the benefits. Do you understand? You want to make sure that you both understand fully the aspects of that admin stuff. Okay, the next thing is intellectual properties. Intellectual properties is on the con list simply because it's something you want to be on the lookout for. When you are doing a collab, you want to make sure that both people in the collaboration are getting credit for their contribution to that collab. So that's where the intellectual property comes into mind or comes into play. You want to make sure that not one person is taking all the credit. The next thing, lots to decide. There are so many things that go into a collaboration, especially with two authors that are trying to come together and write one story. So this right here is where you want to consider all things that you need to decide beforehand. And that does include the contracts and the admin stuff, what to do when there's a disagreement, all that kind of stuff. But this is not the end all be all list. It's just something that you want to be aware of and really dive deep and be open and honest in your communication. So that way you can kind of let each other know what is to be expected. Okay. On to the next, uncharted waters. This is on the cons list simply because you need to be aware of how it is going to work for both of you, not just for one. This is something that maybe you have not known a lot about. Maybe this is your first time diving into a co-writing partnership. So just remember, there's lots of information out there on the internet. So do your research and you'll be better for it in the long run. The next thing on here is comparison. Comparison, obviously, guys, it's on the con list because you don't want to compare yourself to other writers. Now, it is important to note that you do need to find someone with similar style or, someone that will mesh well with you in the project that you are considering to do together. So that's where that comes into. You don't want to compare yourself to someone else, but you do want to make sure that you guys have enough um, ability, style, that kind of thing, talent, creativity, that you're both putting in the same amount of effort into the collaboration. Okay, and the last thing is shared credit. This also goes back to that intellectual property. Shared credit is on the cons list because it's only there for for you to understand that it is a collaboration and therefore both parties need to be compensated and represented. So just something to consider. Okay, guys, I'm going to pause this video for just a second and we're going to get right into the next part of the video. Okay, sorry about that. My camera was dying. Anyway, so this is actually for the prose part of the author collab. So on the prose side over here, we have share the load. So this is obviously in the pro category because you're not having to write the entire story all by yourself. You're not having to edit the entire work all by yourself. So sharing the load is where this comes in as a pro because you're not having to do all of it by yourself. So it's really helpful when you divide the work evenly so each person feels like they are carrying their own weight and not a whole bunch of responsibility ends up on one person. So that's where the pro part of sharing the load comes in. The second thing is on the pros list is generating new ideas. Because you have two people working together, obviously there's going to be more ideas. This is always a plus. And number three, exploring new horizons. This is on the pros because when you come together in a collaboration, obviously there are going to be some, ideas and things tossed around that maybe you had never thought of before. So you get to explore new horizons. So that's a pro. The next thing is a sounding board. It's so important to have someone there to bounce your ideas off of and that they can bounce their ideas off of you. So it's double the fun, guys. That's why it's on the pros side. And the next thing here is half the work. So half the workload and you get a faster turnaround on that project. So that's a pro. Accountability partner. So when you are doing a collab, it is so important to both have an accountability partner and to be accountable for your share of the work. This is a pro, guys. The next thing is learning to compromise. This is so important on a successful collaboration is that you have to be willing to compromise and to listen to one another. Okay, the next thing on here is leveling up and learning or advancing your skills. When you work with another person, and probably a lot of you already know this, especially if you've been through like critique rounds and that kind of thing, just having that second eyes or second set of eyes on your work can be so incredibly helpful. Also, you will be able to advance your skills by working with someone. You'll get to see, different styles of writing, and who knows what could benefit you. So the next thing on the list is learning to express yourself clearly. I cannot stress this enough. It is so important to communicate, and not just to communicate, but also to communicate and convey what it is that you're trying to say. You want to be able to make this as clear as possible. And having another person when you are collabing, feeling so free and so comfortable that you're able to be honest with one another, really is just a wonderful, wonderful thing. That's why it's on the pro side. And the next thing here is that extra support. So when you have extra support, obviously you're not going to have to do everything by yourself, and you have someone constantly rooting for you in your corner. Because if you're both supporting one another, obviously your project is going to go a lot more smoothly, and you're going to be on the same page and advance yourself and getting that story out there. The next thing on the co-writing prose side is the network and getting to know others. When, two heads are better than one. So if you have your own following or your own subscriber or social media audience already built in, obviously, if you have two people, then you get to share one another's. More than likely. So, getting that extra networking in, being more involved in the community and growing that audience, maybe they wouldn't have seen you before had you not done a collab. So, doing a collab with someone, you also kind of get to dip your hand into their audience as well. So, that's a plus. More eyes on your work. Okay, the next thing is trying a new experience. It's so important to kind of break out of your shell and that comfort zone. You want to push yourself to the limit and know that you can always do better. So, having a new experience like co writing, if you haven't delved into this beforehand, you're going to learn and grow so much from this experience. So, the next thing is having that built in critique partner. Again, guys, so important to have another set of eyes on your work. So, having a built in critique partner is great for your collaboration. Just remember that all of this stuff is nothing without open, honest communication and compromise. So that's all I have for you guys today. I do hope that this list helped you out and gave you some things that you might want to consider when you do a co-writing collab with another author. So that's all I have. Thanks so much for watching. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Be sure to leave me a comment below and let me know something that maybe you'd want on your pro or con list. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and until then, happy writing. Bye, guys.